Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG. I'm your host Aaron and it's Saturday, so you know what that means. It's our weekly news roundup for week 40 2020. Great information that came out this week, especially around the ARPG universe. As always, I will share my thoughts. Please feel free to share yours in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to support smaller channels. All right, let's jump right into this. Starting us off is Path of Exile with their Heist League, which dropped mid-September. Now, this league has been a little bit of a mixed bag. I know multiple people that love it and multiple people that hate it, and the reviews are kind of showing that as well. Well, Path of Exile dropped patch 3.12.2b, which brings about fixes. Now, it's not a lot. They've already dropped multiple patches for this league. But what's notable about this is the Rogue Harbor is now a private area which only you and your party members can access. So that is a change a little bit to the mechanic of this league. And then also there's some bugs that have been bugging people, and they have fixed a lot of that with this update. Nothing huge, but Path of Exile continues to impress people, and that's what's going on with Heist. Last Epoch has dropped patch preview 7.10 on us. And historically, that means that we will be getting this update in anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks, but normally closer to a week. Now, I already made a completely separate video breaking down this update in depth and what it'll mean for Last Epoch, and I will link that video at the end of this video. But to give you the overview, they're going to be adding loot filters to the game. They're going to be making sweeping changes to the defensive systems. They're going to be changing crafting and getting rid of destructive fractures and adding in a new critical success. They're going to be changing the campaign boss fights a little bit. Historically, if you're fighting a boss and die, the life that you took away from that boss will stay there. So you can just keep running it over and over again until you kill the boss. That's no longer going to be the case. The boss will reset its life back to full, and you will have to fight the boss again. That being said, you used to have to run all the way back to find the boss. Now you will start back right at the boss fight. They're adding in 3 new skills. There's going to be a Firebrand, Infernal Shade, and Shield Bash. So 3 new skills to the game. And they're removing Defile, Ice Ward, Manifest Weapon, and Molten Blade. They're going to be updating the animations for the Acolyte and adding in new Acolyte armor to the game. They're going to be updating the interface, so the interface is going to look a whole lot better. You're going to be able to click on every single skill tree for that character and know exactly what kind of damage that skill does based upon these new indicator markers they have. So the user interface is going to feel a whole lot better. And then at the end, they tease us, letting us know that Early Access Phase 3, the next update is going to have 4 additions to it from that Early Access Phase 3, so we can kind of get an idea of what's coming for the future. Now, a couple days ago too, they actually dropped on us what the new Firebrand skill is gonna be. So we now know its functionality. It's going to be a melee attack which grants a stack of Firebrand buff. If it hits an enemy, each stack of the Firebrand buff increases the size of the sequential Firebrand attacks and adds melee fire damage. So if you're a mage class and you're a melee mage class, this is going to be a really cool skill that you can use for Last Epoch. Moving over to the world of tech, and I do have to say that I think Nvidia is making the wrong decision here. Nvidia has made the decision to postpone or delay the launch of their Nvidia RTX 3070 GPU. Now, this is more of their budget-friendly model compared to their big brothers, the 3080 and 3090s. And let me tell you why. So on here, the Nvidia RTX 3070 launch will now take place on October 29th. Remember that date, October 29th, which is exactly a 2-week delay. While this news may be disappointing to some, it's probably for the better overall. As already mentioned, the new GPUs have been incredibly hard to come by. This delay may actually increase the chances of you and others scoring one for yourselves. It will also hopefully decrease the number of cards being resold online by scalpers for exorbitant prices. Okay, so basically they're thinking, hey, we'll push it back 2 weeks. This will give us the ability to really up our stock levels so that we don't have the same thing that happened with the 3080 and 3090, okay? From that perspective, I totally get it. Now again, let me tell you why I think the date of October 29th is a mistake. On October 28th, AMD will officially unveil all of their new Big Navi 6000 series GPUs. Now, there's been lots of leaks, and for the most part, we know what those are. But again, this is not supposed to be a paper launch. They're supposed to be able to unveil them, launch them, and there's a chance you'll be able to get them that day. So I don't know why Nvidia would push back the 3070 to the day after their competitor's going to launch their new GPUs. I would think if AMD comes out and wows everybody, if AMD comes out and undercuts all their pricing, that might take some of Nvidia's market and push it to Team Red. So I don't know. I just thought it was really particular that they picked October 29th, knowing that the other cards are coming out on October 28th. Torchlight 3 is officially going 1.0. This might be the first time in 2020 that I was surprised that a game is getting launched earlier than I expected. So this is what is going to be happening. Torchlight 3 will officially launch on Steam 1.0 on October 13th. Okay, so we are really close to getting this full game. But if you want, technically, you can get the game early. The last wipe for this game, and it's a complete wipe. All your decorations in your fort, all the characters you have, all the gear you have, everything will be completely wiped out on October 6th. Once that wipe is complete and the update is implemented, everything you do from October 6th to October 13th stays. So you will literally get a 1 week jump on everybody else if you are in the early access. Also, if you're in the early access, you're going to get little gifts from them in your mailbox for your fort. And you're going to be getting the game for $10 cheaper. So this game right now, early access, is $29.99. And October 13th on Steam, the retail cost will be $39.99. Okay? You get all that? Last wipe October 6th. You can get the game a week early. You can get some gifts from them and get it $10 cheaper if you get the early access now. Blizzard dropped its quarterly update for Diablo 4, and I have to say that I was a little disappointed. Now, we haven't heard any news about Diablo 4 for 3 months, so always expect these to be really, really long, but unfortunately, in this update, we don't get a whole lot of information, and I kind of made that known in the video I made this week that I'll link at the end of this video if you're really looking for that deep dive. So ultimately, at the beginning, they just talk about how they continue to look to the community as they are making decisions, which is always good. Now, 3 months ago, they rolled out to us ancestral, demonic, and angelic powers. Now they're rolling out to us that they're going to rework that system. So basically, the first part of this, something we already knew about, is now going to get reworked. That doesn't really tell us anything. Then they go into legendary items. In this section, all they talk about is they don't want items to be the sole reason for your power. They want to balance your character progression and your items. But ultimately, they don't tell us anything about legendary items. Then they break down the new skill system. So this is something new that we see. This is their newly painted skill tree for the sorceress. At the bottom here, these red roots, these are the passive skills. And then up here, the square is the actual skill. And then the little circle is a little way to enhance the skill. And just like lots of ARPGs, you have orange for fire, teal for ice, and then purple for lightning. And my big thing on this is just said that it seems a little too basic. You're going to be able to unlock 40% of these skills for your character. Okay, then we keep going down, down, down. This is all breakdown of the tree. Then we get to the sorceress enchantment system. Okay, now every skill that the sorceress has will basically be able to be played 2 ways. Okay, you'll have the active skill bar down here at the bottom, and then these little gold rings here will be active passive skills that you can place in here. And the best way to explain this is visuals. So what you see here, this first box, is a sorceress using meteor. Very simple. Cast meteor on the ground, meteor comes down and kills enemies. Now you take that same skill and you place it in this little ring right here, and now the skill just works on its own. You have random meteors falling from the ground, and it doesn't look like it's targeting enemies. It looks like it's fairly random, just falling down. So it does add a lot of build diversity where you can have basically passive active skills for your character. So the sorceress would have, you know, instead of these 6 skills, she would get another 3. Okay, so that is the sorceress enchantment system. Then they have this whole thing here for end game progression. Now this is what really took me back when I was breaking this down. These paragraphs here, all it talks about for the end game progression system is that it's not ready. They want it to be easy to learn, hard to master, and that hardcore fans are really going to like it. It's not ready to be talked about yet, and it's not going to be ready to be talked about in the next update. So stay tuned. Okay? So we learned nothing about the endgame system, even though it's in there. We learned about the sorceress enchantment system. We got a glimpse of the new tree. And that's it. 3 months. That is what we found out for the Diablo 4 quarterly update. Blizzard, I expect more from you. This might be the first time I am covering World of Warcraft on my channel. So many people hit me up and asked me for my opinion that I thought I should include it in this week's Weekly News Roundup. World of Warcraft Shadowlands delayed to later in the year. Now, this is a perfect example, Blizzard, of overpromise, underdeliver. You never want to do that in the business world. World of Warcraft Shadowlands has been delayed. This despite Blizzard offering assurances that the expansion would be available later this month. Blizzard has done its best to keep people engaged by launching new expansions every couple of years, but World of Warcraft Shadowlands will see an unfortunate delay from its original launch on October 27th to the end of the year. The delay is explained in a tweet from the game's executive producer John Haidt. Will let the team further polish one of the most intricate expansions the game has seen. Haidt noted that the endgame in particular still needs refinement. This work has been made more difficult due to the team having to work remotely. Blizzard is still targeting. Means they're not definitive. Blizzard is still targeting a 2020 release date of Shadowlands. That should put the release sometime in November, December if the company plans on keeping that target. If this expansion for World of Warcraft does not come out in 2020, I'm not somebody that plays World of Warcraft, but I can tell you I know a lot of people that do. People are going to leave the game. People are already so sick of the stuff that Blizzard is pulling that if this continues to go on, especially these delays, like, people are going to leave. They have to get Shadowlands out in 2020. Cryptic Studios dropped its State of Development 2 on us this week, breaking down its action RPG, Magic Legends. Now, it doesn't really tell us a whole lot about the game here. It talks about 2 new playable regions. We find out the final launch characters, which is the Sanctifier and the Necromancer, and then a couple other things. But here's the meat and potatoes. While we evaluated player feedback and saw quite a bit of positivity, we also saw some opportunities to make impactful adjustments. These opportunities include improvements to the player experience, loadout options, tutorial flow, storytelling, and more, in order to do the storied multiverse of Magic justice. Here it comes. To that end, we've decided to shift the release of Magic Legends to the spring of next year to ensure we deliver the highest quality Magic experience we possibly can. Magic Legends now has a roundabout launch date of spring 2021. And then they just conclude letting us know that they're going to be doing their 3rd alpha closed playtest, and we can go to the website and sign up, which I have signed up for. Last and certainly not least, Baldurs Gate 3. Last and certainly not least, Baldurs Gate 3 dropped its Community Update 8, which will be the last community update we get our hands on before early access on October 6th, which is literally only a few days away. You'll be able to get this game. Now, I made a video earlier in the week, and I made a statement that this might be the most advanced and detailed character creation I have ever seen in the history of a game, okay? So right off the bat, you're going to be able to select your race, sub-race, background, and class. and in certain cases, a subclass, and perhaps a deity, okay? So lots of options, right? So I'm sure you all knew that if you've ever played these games before. You're going to be able to pick 6 different abilities, and you're going to be able to pick different skills, okay? The race, subrace, background class, subclass, and deity, including 6 ability points and skills that you're proficient in, okay? With me so far? Now, as far as actually how your character looks, they used 3D scans of actors and models to create photorealistic fantasy races. You see this model right here in the middle with all these different SLRs pointed at her. They took the fantasy race, then used 50 different models and actors that closely resembled those fantasy races, and then used the pictures of them to sculpt the different options. In this game alone, you're going to have 150 different heads to choose from. 150 heads. Now look at the detail here on the center. So you see this character right here, you can see the skin. So right here on the cheek, it almost looks like mild acne scarring. Right there. So the whole point is realistic. You go down a little further, look at this one right here. You see a little pimple here, little blemish on the neck. You can see the lines in the lips. You could see the freckles on her face. Like, I mean, it looks unbelievable. You take a look at this one right here. You can kind of see the lines, or you can see the lines in his forehead. You could see the wrinkles. Like, obviously this is older. You could see the mold on his nose and even a little scar on his nose. I mean, the details for this CRPG are unbelievable. Unbelievable. I highly recommend you look at the video that I made on this at the end of this video, breaking down this stuff further, because it truly is pretty amazing what Larian Studios has done for this character creation. It's just so much to go through. So on top of that, you will be able to change your appearance. So within the appearance tab, you'll customize the finer details of your character. You can choose from different voice options, alter facial features, hairstyles, colors, and beards. Eye and hair color will have multiple canon options, but these options can also be ignored, and you could just pick whatever you want from the colors available. Finally, you can add the finishing touches with a variety of tattoo and makeup options. You'll notice that many of the subraces have different appearances in each other, which add another layer of variety to the roleplay in your party. Baldurs Gate 3, early access, October 6th. You'll be able to play Act 1, which is supposed to give you 25 hours of playtime. It's going to cost you $60 on Steam Early Access, and the way the game is designed, that every time you pick a different race, the playthrough will be completely different experience. As of right now, I am highly recommending it. All right, everybody, that will wrap up our Weekly News Roundup 40. What did everybody think? Is there a big story out there I potentially missed? Let me know in the comment section below. If you have not joined the official Action RPG Discord, please do so. We're now at 340 members, great conversations every day. The idea is to create a gaming community that could jump from game to game together, so you never start the server alone. Link for that Discord is in the description. That's all I got. Stay home, stay safe. Do not forget to join the official Action RPG Discord. Aaron